The phone rings on a random Tuesday. You glance at the screen, and even though the number is unknown, something in you pushes you to answer. On the other end, the world stops. You hear broken breathing, and suddenly the voice of your son. Dad, I've had an accident. I'm at the hospital, and I can't find my wallet. I need you to help me right now. The voice has the same timbre, the same cadence. Panic clouds your judgment instantly. You don't pause to think that the connection sounds a bit metallic, or that the story is strange. Your protection instinct flips on, and before you even realize what's happening, you're reading out your card numbers, or confirming a fast transfer to an account the hospital conveniently provides. What you don't know is that the person you just spoke to isn't human. It's an architecture of code, an artificial intelligence algorithm that has learned to be your family better than your family. Welcome to the era of the perfect scam, where the weapon isn't a gun and it isn't a computer virus. The weapon is the love you feel for the people you care about, turned into a software vulnerability. To understand why this works with such terrifying efficiency, we have to look at the Artificial Empathy Labs, where this technology is being forged. Just a few years ago, cloning a human voice required hours of high-fidelity recordings and a team of audio engineers polishing everything in post-production. But in today's landscape, a criminal with a basic internet connection only needs a tiny audio sample, sometimes just 3 seconds, to generate a synthetic model that's almost indistinguishable. And here's the worst part. We are the ones providing the raw material for free. Every time you upload a birthday video to social media, every voice note you send in a messaging group that eventually leaks into someone else's hands, every time you post a joke clip where you talk for a few seconds, you're feeding the beast. Artificial intelligence breaks your voice into its fundamental frequencies, maps your intonation patterns, learns the speed of your phrases, the pauses, the breath, the emotional coloring, and it builds a sound puppet that can say anything the scammer types into a keyboard. It's the democratization of deception. What used to be the stuff of high-budget spy movies is now a tool any criminal can use from their living room for the price of a cheap subscription. But this scam doesn't rely only on technical brilliance. It relies on something even more powerful, the emotional hijack of your limbic system. Scammers are social engineering professionals who understand one key truth. Fear is the switch that turns logic off. The moment you hear someone you love in danger, your brain shifts into survival mode. And in survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, the part that questions, analyzes, and doubts, gets pushed into the background. They create a maximum urgency scenario where time becomes your enemy. They hit you with realistic background noises, ambulance sirens, muffled crying, chaos in the distance, and they drag you to an emotional cliff where almost anyone, regardless of education level or skepticism, becomes vulnerable. They're not stealing money in the traditional sense. They're selling you a temporary feeling. The relief of believing your family is safe. It's emotional ransom paid with one bank confirmation click. There's a dangerous myth that fuels this entire industry, the belief that it won't happen to me, or that this only works on older people who don't understand technology. The reality is far more cynical. Voice cloning scams are catching corporate executives and even cybersecurity experts. And the technique is no longer limited to family scenarios. Now it's being used in business environments through CEO fraud. Imagine you receive a call from your direct boss, a voice you know perfectly, asking you to authorize an urgent payment to a supplier because of an administrative mistake. The audio identity is flawless, and then your authority bias does the rest. Our arrogance becomes the scammer's greatest ally because we assume we can detect an artificial voice, when in truth, today's models have basically passed a Turing test for the average human ear. We are not as sharp as we think, and our ears are much easier to trick than our eyes. Behind what looks like a single isolated call, there are often full-scale organized crime operations working with the precision of a service company. They have teams dedicated exclusively to data prospecting, studying your digital footprint to learn who is who in your family, what your pet is named, where you went on vacation. With that information, the scam script becomes perfect. The cloned voice doesn't just sound like your son, it drops specific details that make it feel unquestionably real. It's a lethal combination of real data and cutting-edge technology. And the irony is brutal. While we use artificial intelligence for trivial tasks, summarizing emails, generating funny images, organized crime is using it like a precision scalpel to dissect our lives and empty our accounts. So, if we want to protect ourselves from this threat, we have to adopt a security mindset that is almost analog. Because in a high-tech world, the best defense is often the simplest one. Measure number 1 against voice cloning is a family passphrase. Every family should have, starting today, a secret word or phrase that is absurd and never shared through digital channels. Something that makes no sense to a stranger, but is an unmistakable identity signal to you. If you receive a call from a family member asking for urgent help, no matter how dramatic the tone is, no matter how perfect the voice sounds, if they cannot give the passphrase, it's a machine. It's low-tech protection for a frontier problem, and it works because no matter how powerful AI becomes, it cannot read your shared memories, and it cannot truly know the inside jokes that only you and your people understand. The second habit we need to internalize is the hang up and verify protocol. Scammers will do everything possible to keep you on the line because time pressure is their main weapon. They'll claim hanging up will put someone's life at risk or that the police won't allow it. It doesn't matter what they say, hang up. If your loved one is genuinely in trouble, you can verify the situation by calling them back directly using the number saved in your contacts, or by calling another trusted family member. Voice imitation can copy a voice, but it still struggles to intercept an outgoing call you initiate toward a legitimate number. The hang-up button is your superpower in this era of digital deception. It's the one act of rebellion that breaks the algorithm's spell. We also have to rethink our biometric overexposure. Every time you post a video of yourself speaking on a public platform, you're leaving the keys to your sound identity outside the door. This isn't about living in a cave. It's about understanding that your voice is sensitive data, like a fingerprint. Setting your social accounts to private, thinking twice before posting clear audio, and being aware of who has access to your voice notes is basic digital hygiene now. If you live a public life, assume your voice model is already out there and warn people around you. You will never request money through a channel that hasn't been verified. Because once your voice has been cloned, you can't replace it the way you replace a password. It's permanent. It's a trail that follows you. In the end, the perfect voice cloning scam is the ultimate reminder that in a world where reality can be manufactured with code, the biggest vulnerability is still our humanity. They fool us because we love. They steal because we are willing to do anything to protect our own. Don't let fear paralyze you, but let knowledge armor you. Technology can imitate the soul of a voice, but it cannot imitate the shared history between two people. Take control, educate your family, establish secret codes, keep a healthy suspicion toward the unexpected. In the future we already live in, the most effective solutions are still the most human: direct communication and common sense. Protect your voice and protect the people you love, because information is the only vaccine against a scam that sounds exactly like the truth. I hope this analysis helps you shield your family and understand that in the age of algorithms, your skepticism is your best defense. Don't let a machine use a familiar voice to steal your future. Take control of your digital security today. See you in the next one.